Vegas, and FanDuel specifically, has their win total set for 79.5 wins this year, guys. If you had to bet on one side of the equation, the over, 79.5 wins, or the under, which side would you take? Bull, we'll start with you.
Ooh. I would go over. I've got the Guardians finishing right around 500, which would be 81 wins. I think they probably win somewhere between 75 and 85 is the likely range for the Guardians.
Who's your breakout star for the Guardians in 2024?
Bo Naylor.
That's a good one.
Easy money. We need to get 19, 20 home runs out of you, big dog.
I would take the over on 79.5. That's easy to me. I don't think they're going to have a losing record again. I actually think they're going to be close to 85.
Swung and ripped to right. There's a base hit. Hitting third, coming for home, Ramirez. He will score, and the Guardians are headed to October. And yes, Cleveland, for the 14th time since 1995, you will have an October to remember.
The burn is so good. The champagne burn in the eye is so good.
Apparently, Hoynesy got it really bad from Miles Straw.
Yeah, but he had goggles on.
I never had that before. I never had that.
Really?
What? Champagne?
No, champagne in the eyes.
In the eyes?
Yeah.
They all wear the goggles now. Everybody goes to the goggles.
You can't
now.
avoid it. If you're in one of those celebrations, you really can't avoid it.
Yeah.
And it's real too. I mean, it absolutely burns.
The question is, will they do another champagne celebration tomorrow if they clinch the division?
I don't know.
Which is fine.
I have mixed feelings on that. I understand why Vogt wanted to do it, because when you break spring training, the whole intention is to make the playoffs.
Yep.
And so when you knock that hurdle down, you want to celebrate. But doesn't it look a little silly if they go out and beat the Cardinals and then do it all over again?
That's their team. They like to party. They like to have fun.
That's baseball. Every team.
Yeah,
baseball
I know.
I think it's dumb, but don't get me started on it.
If the players like it, who cares?
I love it.
Yeah.
The players like it. I got no problem with it.
I wouldn't have done it. I understand why Vogt wanted to do it. Not included in the predictions there, in the montage to open the show. When I was closing out my spring training hit in February, I talked about how I thought Austin Hedges had completely turned the psyche of the team around. And again, he's one of those guys, analytics guys hate him. They literally look at it and go,
he's not good at baseball.
Yeah, but this is the difference between where analytics drives the bus and sometimes gut drives the bus. I know you know this. They brought him back. They said it was their biggest move in the offseason.
It's the first thing they did.
Every single person I talked to at spring training, the first thing they said when I said, "Hey, welcome back."
Look at his face.
Can we talk about the players that matter?
Look at his face. Bull was blinking his eye.
If you don't want to put Austin Hedges into the camp of players that matters, that's your own problem.
Okay, I don't think he matters at all. But whatever. I guess
he doesn't matter at all.
I don't think so. No.
Wow, that is stunning.
I don't know how we prove that he does, but
see, that's it. The analytic mind can't look at they can't look at the box.
I see things both ways. There's no way. I'm sorry. I don't want to waste any time on it.
But I did actually at the end of the spring training hit said this team's going to make the playoffs. I didn't predict they were going to win the AL Central. I just said they're going to be a playoff team.
Do you know real quick? Do you know who did predict them to win the AL Central?
This guy.
Stephanie Haney did.
You did not predict them to win the AL Central.
Stephanie Haney said yesterday when they got their 89th win, said
90 and 72.
I'm on this. And I said, well, I need to have you on the show. We need to get you on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I need to know in detail how you knew this was going to happen. Like, was it the hitting? Was it the pitching? Was it the stitching together a pitching staff? And she said, no, it's Stephen Vogt.
And despite the fact that Stephen Vogt made 2 all-time stupid moves in yesterday's game,
they
still clinched. I don't know why you would let Austin Hedges hit in that big spot. I don't know why you pinch hit from Manzardo when he's got 3 hits already, including a home run.
I didn't get it either. I did not understand that.
That was weird.
In the moment, guys do things. Maybe they trust their gut. Maybe they just have a sense. Maybe they have a feel. I'm going to say this, though. I can't kick Stephen Vogt about micro, because in the macro, again, also, I asked every single 24, 25 players we did interviews with, and I asked Stephen Vogt. I asked all of them one question that was the same. 2024 is a successful season if. And the players had a myriad of answers. Well, if the pitching staff can stay healthy, if the bullpen can return to form, if we can find a way to increase our power production. Only one person out of everyone I asked used the word World Series. And Stephen Vogt, without batting an eye, when asked what would make 2024 a successful season, said, if we win the World Series. And he's the leader of the group. And it's interesting how, you know this, most teams, the last thing they ever want to do is grab that pressure at the beginning. You know, very few teams, you'll very rarely, unless you're the Kansas City Chiefs, will you hear a team at the beginning of the season say, our goal is to win the Super Bowl. That's it. But this Guardians team, who's coming off a season where they missed the playoffs and they're losing their leader, the manager, the new manager with 0 games experience coaching at the Major League level, said, if we win the World Series. And it's quite a story.
And they made the playoff. Even if you predicted the Guardians to make the playoffs, nobody could have predicted the way they made the playoffs. Because if you asked anybody that thought the Guardians were going to have a good season, you'd say, well, how are they going to have a good season? You would say, well, the starting pitching was great.
You're going to get nothing out of Shane Bieber. You're going to get nothing out of Tristan McKenzie. We would have pulled our hair out and said, that's a 70-win team.
Yeah, had we known those details, so you'll have Tristan for a month, you'll have Bieber for 2 starts.
Yeah.
Now make a prediction. You say
70 and
wins.
92.
You would, and that's logical.
Yeah.
Even if you look, outside of the bullpen, if you were in a coma for the last year or last 6 months, and you woke up and all I did was show you the statistics of all the starting pitchers and hitters for the Guardians, no bullpen, you'd say you wouldn't think they were any good because the starting pitching numbers are at best equal to what you thought, in most cases worse than what you thought.
Worse probably because Bieber and McKenzie were gone.
Right, but even Gavin Williams wasn't as good as you thought this year. Sure. Even Tanner Bybee, you thought he'd be even better. Logan Allen worse, across the board. The lineup, there's nobody, when you look by the end of the season, at the halfway point, yeah, Fry and Kwan were way above what you expected. But you look now, is there any player whose stats are way better than you thought they'd be?
Well,
no.
I didn't predict that they'd have 230 and 100 guys. I didn't see that coming.
I don't know. You knew if Naylor could stay healthy, he could hit 30. He's hitting the 20s a bunch of times.
I've always loved Naylor, but
what did Naylor hit last year? I
don't know that anybody thought it was going to be
24 last year, but he missed a bunch of games.
Yeah, it's not that, none of the numbers are way out of line.
They were talking yesterday. I was listening to the game on the radio for a stretch, and Tom Hamilton brought up a great point. He said the Guardians have, I think it's 3 guys with over 30 stolen bases. Now, obviously, Lane Thomas got most of those with Washington. Mm-hmm. But then he was comparing the numbers to the Twins. And the Twins are still in the playoff race. They're trending down, but they're still in it. He said they've got 2 guys with 30 home runs and 100 ribs. The top rib producer for the Twins is in the 70s. The top home run guy is, I think, Carlos Santana. He has 22 or 24. Mm-hmm. And they don't have anybody with 30 stolen bases. So, when you start doing it that way, and they're in the race. And the Guardians have 2 of these guys.
It goes to show you that's why they play games. You can look at it. You can say, oh, I thought he was going to do well. I thought this guy would have been well. I thought, no. You just got to watch the games and let it play out. Like the numbers and stats can lie sometimes. You know, if you look up and down this order, and you look at a bunch of people and you're like, wow, you're playing a bunch of young guys. Guys are up and down and guys getting a lot of bats. But, you know, shout out to them. They managed to, when they could have folded like a tent, I think it was a couple of weeks ago against the Royals, they pulled it together. We talked about, hey, how will they deal with being a team that's not a front runner? They had the big lead. They was leading the division the whole entire year. And then all of a sudden, you look up, and it's like, wow, not only are the Twins coming from behind, you got the Royals as well. So I'll give them credit because, I was scared for a little bit, but Stephen Vogt, he pulled it together. And now, if you get into the playoffs as a baseball team, anything's possible.
Roll the dice.
Get hot in October.
Anything's possible.
How about the Tigers?
Yeah, they can't.
Wow.
Sold at the deadline.
They did.
Sold at the deadline.
Right. And there was talks that maybe Skubal could be had.
Yeah.
Which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I never thought for a second that they were going to trade him, but you don't want to get into a short series with these guys. And I don't mean a 3-game, but I mean a 5-game. If you get the DS, you get Skubal twice.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough task for anybody.
It will be. The Guardians' magic number to clinch the division is 3. Magic number to clinch a bye is 4. And they're a half game back of the Yankees for the top seed overall. The Yankees have the tiebreaker, so they have to finish ahead of them.
I actually think that's really important to go for the 1 seed.
I agree with
I don't
that.
know where you guys are.
I think that's very
I think
earlier in the season, I was thinking 2 wouldn't be so bad because the Orioles play the Yankees, and this way you don't have to play both of them. But I think the Orioles are struggling so much. I don't care about the Orioles. If you play the Yankees, you want home field.
Give me home field
that's
throughout.
what I want.
I think it's a really big deal.
But there's just that stigma of going into Yankee Stadium and being successful in the playoffs.
But I'll tell you this: people look at the Yankees. If you're not paying close attention to the Yankees, which probably most people are not, people talk about the Yankees like in football people talk about the Ravens and the Steelers. You assume every year that the Ravens and Steelers have a good defense. They don't every year. They do often, but they don't. The Yankees' offense is not very good.
They've got 2 guys that scare the hell out of everybody.
Absolutely.
Outside of that,
their lineup is just. It's really the bottom of the lineup is no better than the Guardians.
Right.
Soto and Judge are fantastic. The Guardians have pitched well against Judge in the postseason in the past, but
and
the
he's
Guardians
been a
don't have the
playoff
starting
disaster.
pitcher. No, only against the Guardians.
Us.
Yeah,
Against
only against
us.
the Guardians.
We have handled him.
I mean, he still hit 14 home runs in the playoffs, but he hasn't played. He did hit 1 against the Guardians, but overall he's not played well against the Guardians. But, I mean, the Guardians' formula is to get that lead early. They have to have it.
Yeah. Make it a 6-inning game.
Not even.
Yeah.
Make it a 3-inning game.
First sign of
playoffs,
trouble.
The leash for starters is that big. You could see this team. How many times this year have the Guardians had to go to the bullpen in the 3rd or 4th inning? And like yesterday, I think yesterday they retired 14 in a row or something absurd like that. These guys are just absolutely incredible. Eli Morgan's the one guy that's shaky to me.
No, I got no problem with Eli Morgan. I think he's fine,
he scares me.
He's not a guy they're going to use much in the playoffs.
No, I would bring up Tristan McKenzie the last week of the season and try him out.
Guardians have the 6th best team ERA in the last 30 years. Think about that for a minute. 6th best in the last 30 years. They're a run better than anybody else in baseball this year, and that is their strength. And it's led by guys who, outside of Class A, have no track record, had no track record.
That's the only thing that scares you, is how will they handle the moment. Because they don't have a track record.
I mean, even the starting pitchers, how you got Bybee and Williams.
Yeah.
First time ever in the postseason,
That's
and
why
those
I
are
like
two.
the idea
Those
of
are two
bringing
horses.
McKenzie up. He's got playoff experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you got in playoffs, you got to throw strikes. You can't be putting people on, especially when you got Judge and Soto. You walk a couple people now, you get a 3-run.
Well, they wouldn't play the Yankees to the ALCS, so we'll see about that.
If
they got a number one,
right?
They could see him in the second round. Is that correct? No.
No, they still couldn't see him.
The Yankees and Guardians going to be the top 2 seeds in whatever order, unless something.
We hope.
It's the Guardians lose
Let's
out.
get a read in, and then we'll finish the Guardians.
Yeah, I'll toss this right back to you guys. If you want to bet on the Guardians to face the Yankees in the ALCS, you can actually find those odds on FanDuel. I'd wait a day or two before these seats finalize before jumping on that. I think the odds will get a little better. But FanDuel has every odd you can imagine, and you've heard us talk about FanDuel a lot. It's America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, they have a little something different for you guys. Now through the end of the weekend, until Sunday, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon at a market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime you want. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to download America's #1 sportsbook.
How pissed are you if you're Tyler Freeman? I know he wasn't very good, but he's on the team all year. They bring up Miles Straw. He gets to celebrate the clinch. He's been here 3 days.
Yeah.
And the only thing
he's
he's
getting picked off.
Got picked off pinch running.
I saw a picture of him in the celebration, like when they posed for the team picture. I forget the caption. Something like, when you don't do any of the work and you still get the A.
Yeah. Right.
It's
like a group project.
You know who I feel for, and I mentioned it upstairs. I was watching with some of the guys in sports, and I said, in this moment, I can only imagine what Tristan McKenzie is going through mentally.
Yeah.
If someone would have told him when they broke camp that, you're going to spend the year in the minors and this team's going to clinch a playoff with 9 games to go, he wouldn't have believed how things have spiraled out of control for him. Because you came in one day and told us before the injury, the I's need dotted and the T's need crossed, but Tristan's about to get his extension.
It was done.
And then his next start. It was
the day he was supposed to sign.
His world fell apart.
The day he was supposed to sign it.
Oh, God.
Well, he still has plenty of time in his career to turn it around long term. But
he's young.
But for now, he's not there. And
would you call him up, Bull? I
would call him up, absolutely. Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't already. I know I guess we'll see what happens here. But I'd love to see him pitch a couple times out of the pen.
Have you looked at his numbers the last couple times out?
No, they've been good.
I haven't.
Yeah, they've been good.
When they piggybacked him out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it last week.
We talked about his first appearance out of the pen went well.
Yeah. I haven't seen, because I want to get down there. Zach and I were trying to line times to where we could go down there together. Zach was working on something. I wanted to
How
talk
is
to
their season going?
Tristan.
Are they going to make the playoffs?
Columbus, I don't even know.
I think they are in the playoffs. The Lake County Captains just won their
clinched.
championship.
Yeah.
But in terms of the division now, obviously you want to take care of business as soon as possible playing in St. Louis this weekend.
Right.
The interesting thing down the stretch, so if the Guardians get a bye, which seems, probably 99% they're going to get a bye, then they won't play their first playoff game till either Friday or Saturday after the season. So
that can't be right. You've got the Twins and Tigers with the same record, but the Twins are
the game behind. They do have the same record. The game behind is wrong for the Twins.
Right.
Matt's not and strong suit.
They're both 8.5. The Tigers is wrong. The Tigers should be 8.5 also. But
math and spelling both.
I don't know. I just lost my train of thought. I don't know what it was.
I think we were talking about minor league. I'd said, is Columbus going to make the playoffs?
Yeah, no.
You said Lake County won the championship, and then you transition. I think we might maybe talking about Tristan McKenzie.
No. Here's what I was going to say. Getting the division. So Tanner Bybee is going to pitch Tuesday when they come back home against Cincinnati. Then he's not scheduled to start the rest of the season after that.
Do you like that?
No,
I don't either.
I got to pitch him on the final day of the regular season. That Sunday. Gavin Williams is supposed to start that day.
Provided you're going to get the bye.
Right, which they'll know, certainly.
Because you don't want 2 weeks rust on them.
No, right. So if you're going to get the bye, you've got to pitch him a few innings that Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's with 2 days off. It's almost a bad thing to have 2 days off in the final week because it's less innings for your starters. Because you want these guys, especially Bybee and Williams, who are going to pitch in the playoffs, and whoever else is going to start. I'm not sure, there's a lot to think about. I mean, Cantillo's pitched real well his last 3 starts. Yeah. I don't know if they're considering making him a starter in the playoffs. Cobb I don't know if he's going to get back this last week. So keeping Bybee, you can't have Bybee go, a week and a half without pitching.
Can we get some clarification? Is it Cantillo or Cantillo? They keep saying Cantillo on the broadcast.
I say Cantillo, but okay. I think it is Cantillo.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to make sure.
Feels like
I've been saying Cantillo too, and then when I hear you, I'm like,
no, I'm saying it wrong. It is Cantillo.
Guys, he's looked great his last couple.
He looked really good.
You picture him third?
No, not third.
Fourth, though, you have to consider.
He'd be an emergency bullpen guy if you need a long bridge to get to the heart of your bullpen.
So who third?
Hey, I don't know.
That's the question.
I mean,
that's a good question.
Boyd's been bad his last 2 starts.
If Alex Cobb
he's barely pitched.
I don't care.
How do you trust him?
I don't care.
I don't care either. I look at his stuff. His stuff when he's pitched has been lights out.
Yeah,
he's got to be healthy. He's got to get everything figured out.
Right.
But I also like the fact that he's got an April arm right now.
That scares me.
He really does.
Yeah.
He has an April arm, and if you can somehow transition a guy who's got playoff experience, who's
but his playoff experience was 12 years ago.
I know. He's
a veteran. He's a veteran.
And there is something to be said for that. I know it's 12 years ago, but the moment won't be too big for him. He's been there before.
And you're only asking him to get about 9 outs.
Yeah.
I need 12. I need 12 to 15.
I think right now Lively would pitch game 3.
Probably
and maybe Cobb pitches game 4.
Lively's earned it.
He has. We'll see. But anybody's getting a quick hook out, in the playoffs. Their bullpen's so good. You could pitch these guys. You could pitch Clase and Gaddis, all these guys. You could pitch them 2 innings.
If you had to.
Get to the bullpen as fast as you can.
As fast as you can. And if you get with a lead, you're going to win 99 times out of 100.
And Zach and I don't know if you guys talked about this on the podcast at all. Zach and I were talking about this. Clase strikeout numbers are not what they could be.
Yeah.
But
or what they've been even.
But Zach said he has learned I can get out of this in 11 or 12 pitches.
It's very efficient.
And then I can pitch 3-4 days in a row.
That's exactly right.
Rather than try and strike. Right.
Kate
rather
Smith
than try
is the strikeout guy out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
But most strikeouts since Paul Shuey.
100
for the Guardians out of the
But if Clase can keep the pitch count low, especially in the playoffs where the games just keep coming,
right,
you can get multiple innings out of him.
Right.
That's huge.
And thinking back to 16, I think there were a couple of situations where Miller might have doubled up and gone.
Oh, Miller threw
like multiple innings.
We were worried about is his arm going to fall off.
But the difference is there's a big difference. That year they had 2 reliable relief pitchers.
They did.
Miller and Allen, and that was it.
But I mean, we do too. Oh, you mean only 2?
They only had 2.
Yeah, I'm saying in Smith And I know some people think Gaddis is, for me, my closer, obviously it's Clase, but I think Smith is our second most reliable reliever.
Yeah, I think he and Gaddis are close. I completely trust both of them.
I love
and
Smith's stuff.
I trust almost everybody that they're going to use in the pen.
Smith's going to be a closer.
Yeah,
at some point,
not too far from now.
Yeah, but
he'll be a closer.
So they have so much more depth there. That
I'll pitch him 2 innings too.
I mean, you could easily get 12 to 15 outs out of those 3 guys.
Yeah, like
easily.
Yeah, you come in
especially
the fifth,
and especially on the games where there's a day off the next day, then you could push him even more.
Aaron looked great yesterday. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? He struck out
all four
guys.
He
Struck out all 4 yesterday.
I mean, their whole pen, almost everybody in their pen is reliable, and so you could use some other guys. Now, managers tend to close in and not be a little less likely to use some of the middle relievers, but really the whole bench. I mean, you don't have a 2.65 bullpen ERA or whatever it is now. If you have weaknesses in the pen, they don't really have any legitimate weaknesses in the pen.
That's why I said get to the bullpen as fast as you can. If your starter goes 3 innings, get him through the order 1 time. Okay, thank you. Job well done. No, I'm serious.
Because now you're asking the bullpen to take care of 6 every day.
I'm not
That's
talking.
Get old.
I don't mean Tanner Bybee to do that. Like Bybee, you need to get 5. You need to get 5 innings out of Tanner Bybee in the playoffs. Gavin Williams, I don't know what you're going to get. I have no idea.
You don't know what you get with any of them besides Bybee.
Yeah,
I mean they're all.
And even Bybee's never done it before. How do you know what you're going to get?
Right, I don't. That's true.
With that being said, they're going to have to be one of the young dudes that has a series. Whether that's Rocchio or Noel or one of these young guys. I don't know, is Martinez going to be on the roster?
Manzardo right now is the hot
one.
one.
Martinez right now is looking like a nice replacement at the leadoff spot if Quan doesn't find the magic.
So him or Manzardo, one of those guys is going to have a great series.
And I don't know why they pinch hit for him yesterday, but yeah, he's got to play. I mean, he's going to play against all righties.
Yeah.
And
he should. Yeah. Martinez will make the team. I assume when Quan comes back, Straw will go back to the minors, I assume. I mean, you can't have Straw and Hedges on your bench. You can't have 2 guys who can't hit.
No.
And they got to keep Hedges. So
they're not doing anything with Hedges.
Yeah, so you can't have Straw. I don't know how you could have Straw on a playoff roster. You can't have 2 guys.
Why did they bring him up there?
They brought him up because Quan got hurt.
So
he's here for Quan. He's essentially until Quan comes back.
Yeah. I would assume.
And Quan can come back next Tuesday, I think.
He's going to come back as soon as he's ready.
The 10-day was retro to last Friday.
As soon as the 10 days are up, he's coming back.
Yeah, and Straw.
They wanted him to get a breather. I don't think there's any legitimate, serious injury here. I mean,
I think it was a reset. What do you? Are you hearing that there was any injury? Because I know there was no episode.
Yeah, I think it's probably more of a clear your head and go away.
Which is a great idea.
Yeah,
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I can't remember a time I've seen a guy go from a legitimate 100% all-star. We were talking about him hitting 400, which was absurd, but we were.
I thought he hit 350.
I did too.
340,
now he's
350.
280 something?
Yeah.
291 right.
I think he hit he's hitting 150-ish since July 1st.
It's not good.
And I don't think I've ever, we've seen rapid descents, but this one, everything that he did in his game was built on the idea that he was so good at the plate with discipline. And then he just started swinging at everything.
Yeah.
So I think a couple of weeks away from the game to clear his mind will be a good thing. I've said this before. I'll repeat it. If they're going to make a deep playoff run, they need Stephen Kwan to be Stephen Kwan.
And Jose. I mean, Jose hasn't played very well lately.
Jose
he just missed
fine.
2 home runs.
I never worry about Jose. He hit a ball yesterday.
2. He hit 1 to left and 1 to right.
I know.
that were both almost gone. Or were gone. But
I don't worry about Jose. I think he'll be all right.
Can I ask you guys one question real quick before we move on?
Sure.
First off, before that, my Uncle Lenny and his friend Steve were in town. They were doing a little Cleveland trip.
Yeah.
They went to the game yesterday.
It's a good one to go
Had the best time of their life.
Really?
They were so impressed with Progressive Field. They came away raving about it, so shout out to the Guardians. They were ready for a perfect game.
By the Yankee fans?
One's a Mets fan. I don't know what Steve is. I've never met him before, but they had a great time.
That was a great game to go to.
It was
there was a nice crowd.
Yeah,
and
great weather.
Afternoon, perfect weather. My question is, though, the Guardians, for whatever reason, Naylor specifically, they just own the Twins. And it seems like every time they play, it comes down to the 7th, 8th inning, the Guardians are down. They find a way to take the lead and hit a walk-off. And yesterday was Giménez, the day before, Naylor, Rocchio. Mentally, from the Twins standpoint, they're falling out of the playoff race. Detroit is now tied it up with them. How does one team, and I know it may change next year, but at least for this year, The Guardians
Hell-
owned the Twins. It's been longer than this year, but
It
the
has
Guardians
been.
own the Twins. And can you break that how do you break that
Yes,
mental?
and here's my fear, and this is why I'm crazy. I don't like even talking about it. They may see him this year. They may see him in the playoffs.
Yeah,
And then suddenly, all of the wins this year and last year mean nothing if they can't find a way to beat them in the playoffs. So
Yeah, I
sometimes
remember-
a team has a team's number.
But I remember in 2015, the Cubs went 7-0 against the Mets in the regular season, and then they played in the NLCS, and the Mets swept them.
There you go.
So and so you never know. And the pitch, in the playoffs, you set your pitching matchups, whatever. But I think the Twins are going to collapse and not make the playoffs. But who knows?
They're in the middle of it right here.
The Tigers are playing as well as anybody.
Don't
so
the Twins have the tiebreak
they
though
do.
on the Tigers?
They do. Yeah.
So they're
Do they have any
basically-
more head-to-head matchups?
No.
Nope, they're done. And
The
they've got-
Tigers end the season with the White Sox.
Yeah, they've got a really
wow.
easy schedule. The rest, I think
And-
they play the Reds maybe in there.
I don't know, but I know they end with the White Sox. They have one tough series. I believe the Twins finish with the Orioles. So if it comes down to that last weekend, the Tigers are probably getting in because they'll sweep the
Can
White
you
Sox, I
imagine?
think.
To your point, sellers at the deadline.
Think they want that one back? Jack Flaherty? Think they like Flaherty back?
But I mean,
You know what? They don't need him right now. Their whole pitching staff has been great.
They've been.
are they? I looked a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week ago. I think they've got the best record in baseball since
They do.
August something.
Yeah.
Jeff Passan, I don't know. Did they win last night?
Did who win last night?
The Tigers.
They won last night.
Yeah, they did.
So then Passan was on SportsCenter before the game, and he said they were 11-3 in their last 14, so they're 12-3 in their last 15.
That's nuts. That's crazy.
And they
As-
were sellers at the deadline.
And I'm just going to prepare everybody now because everybody's going to get all hot and bothered when this happens. Tarek Skubal's winning the Cy Young.
As he should.
Oh, he should.
And
he should win the Cy
Clase's
Young.
going to finish second.
He will.
And he's had a great season. It's no knock on him. I don't think Vogt's going to win Manager of the Year either. I think he'll
is.
finish second
I
there.
heard a combo on this on MLB Network
The
a
Brewers
couple
guy?
of days ago.
No, it's just a different league.
I think for
yeah, it's
for
not
what
one,
it's
it's not
worth.
one.
I mean, for what it's worth, what he's done, I think the degree of difficulty is up a few pegs because he's replacing the guy that he's replacing, and they were coming off a year where they didn't make the playoffs.
Right,
And
but the
so for
Royals,
me-
I think the
No,
Royals.
I know they lost
yeah.
100 games last year.
Yeah.
I get it.
So I think Vogt's going to
But
finish
if the
second.
Guardians win the one in the American League,
Yeah, that changes.
I don't think anybody deserves it except him. I think Vogt's the winner.
Pat Murphy of the Brewers is going to win in the National League, Mike. He's
So
done a great job.
who's going to win the American League if you don't think it's
Qatar-
I think it's going to be Matt Quattaro, the Royals.
It depends on what happens with the one. If the Guardians win the one, I don't see how Vogt doesn't win it.
Yeah, I
They're
just
the best
think
team in the American League.
the expectations were higher for the Guardians than the Royals. So that's what it goes by. It doesn't go to the best manager,
No,
but
should go to the guy that did the best job with what he had.